Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. So we have here with us today Justin from firstla.com and ytoday.com. So you guys can actually just share our stream, and we're gonna talk about how SMEs are gonna sustain through this pandemic and what they can learn from this pandemic, and how can we move on with our lives and post COVID-19 and post MCO. So share this live with your friends. Share it. Get your friends to join the live. And follow Jess on fulla.com and also ytoday.com, usetoday.com. Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see you at 2 p.m. Can just share out first, guys. So, anyone I know in your team from Penang?
Penang, no. Right now we are very much based in KL and Selangor. Yeah.
So your family also moved to your mom?
Yeah, my mom basically, but my mom is basically in Penang together with my family.
She
So
don't want to move to KL?
no, I don't think so. Most
I
Penang will not
Penang
leave.
don't want yeah. Penang guys, they just don't feel like moving to KL because Penang, calm, quiet, best
Yeah.
place for retirement.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Very cute. Let us see.
Mm.
You got this. You share already?
Yep.
Cool. And get your people all to share as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I know everyone just finished lunch and then just chilling. And if you want to learn something today, please do join us at 2 p.m. sharp because we have Miss Justin with us. And Justin is going to be talking about how SMEs are going to go through this post MCO, post CMCO, and how we're going to move on and adapt to new norms and all that. So it's going to be a really interesting episode today. So make sure to join us. How is MCO, CMCO treating you?
I would say it's busier than usual because right now our communication has to be online, right?
Yeah.
With the team also, everybody has to sync in using calls, online features like Zoom and so forth.
Mm.
So there's a lot of communication. I think communication barrier that we are facing, and then some of our employees are also in other parts of the states, which they went back hometown previously, and then they
Mm.
got stuck there. So that's also an issue. Yeah, so it's busier than usual. But in
Okay,
terms of business,
so most of the people are working from home.
yes, right now we have a policy where we work from home all the way until December.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I think you save costs on office and all that also lah.
Actually, office we still retain it. We still have a place for, because previously we were also doing a lot of youth programs, so
Mm.
we still have our buntings and so forth still there. So office is just a place right now, but it's just there. We're not using it.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So I think you guys are already adapting to the digital norm for
Yeah.
quite a while already. So it's nothing new for you. But also like there are also people who just started to get to know the digital norm. Like some of our guests on the show, they also mentioned like, I realized I just use Zoom lah. I don't need to go and have a coffee. Then I have to pay 12 ringgit for a coffee. I just use Zoom lah. Then drink my coffee all at home. That
Yeah,
kind of thing.
you're right.
So you also have your Zoom calls with your clients?
Yeah, so actually right now, most of our clients that come online after we explain online, they are the ones. I mean, we close sales on Zoom calls already. So there was actually no physical meetups anymore. This has been happening for the past 2 months.
I see. So quite okay. What do you think about the new norm of so many SOPs?
You mean in terms of the government sector or in terms of
For
company?
everyone, like now you go out, right? Like we all go out, we have to wear masks. That's the new norm. We have to wash our hands while singing happy birthday. Or even when we go to any shop now, we have to register our name and all that. What do you think of this new SOP, new norm?
I think it's crucial. It's needed too, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a very infectious disease, right?
Mm,
And one person itself can spread to almost the whole building or the whole room itself. So it's
mm,
important that everybody takes the precautions step. So this
mm.
is why also for us we have determined to work from home all the way to December to minimize those risks.
Right. I think that is a really good call because most of the people who that can work online at home, I think
Mm.
they would prefer to also stay at home, especially those with family lah, with
Yeah.
kids and all that. I think that's a safe move for everyone. But there are also jobs that cannot avoid going to the office lah, like people in the production line, they need to be there and all that. So I
Exactly.
think the caution must be made lah. Then maybe companies should also like follow these standard SOPs and then get everything prepared first. Maybe give your staff mask lah, sanitizer lah. Remind them to always check temperature. If you're not
Exactly.
feeling well, then don't report to work lah. Then just report to your manager and say that I'm not feeling well. Get
Nope.
yourself checked first because you would know because you're a business owner and you would know that if one of your staff got
Mm.
sick, then
Yeah.
the thing is the government will fine you. Number one, number two, your staff might be infected. Like more staff, not only that person, more of them will be infected.
Yeah,
So I
the
think
whole company we're talking about.
yeah, so I think it's a really good call for you guys to like really just work from home. I think that's really good
Mm.
call. Yay, it's two.
Okay.
Okay, so we can start already.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, if you just joined us, welcome. This is PQTV Live with me, Gwen, and we have today Jess Tan. Jess Tan is the founder of Fula, which is an app, and also the founder of Why Today's Neighborhood. She's also the CEO. And of course, it was founded in 2013 by a local entrepreneur, Jess Tan. And the mission is to fund, educate, and support students and young professionals by turning their ideas into successful projects through experiential events. And of course, Fula is an app to help you to find what you need and what you want. So they specifically target you for what you want to know and what you need to know. So this is just done, ladies and gentlemen. Yay!
Hey, hey everybody.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about SMEs, how they can sustain through this pandemic, and what's to come for them. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the digital norm, which is not really a norm for you, but a norm for new people. So we want to know what do you think of the current market and the effects of it towards SMEs?
I think SMEs itself is hit pretty bad. It's really bad right now.
Mm,
A lot of SMEs are suffering basically from cash flow problems.
yeah.
Because personally myself, I've actually been in WhatsApp groups with a lot of entrepreneur
Mm,
because we are entrepreneur groups that are actually either funded by investors or the government sectors.
mm,
So I'm in a few WhatsApp groups that we have a few hundred CEOs and also founders of companies. So they are all from different sizes. So everybody actually shares their input with me, especially in the group. So the few things that I found out is that first of all, it's SME suffering from cash flow problems.
mm,
Second, it's those involved in retails. They have less footfalls and also profitability is affected.
mm.
And the third is basically disruption to their business activities. So that's what I think about the current market.
Okay. So, what do you think is difficult for SMEs to sustain their business during this period?
Uh, as mentioned, I think the biggest problem right now is the cash flow, especially for majority of the SMEs,
Mm,
because assuming this pandemic will actually last for the next 12 to 18 months, it will be because it takes a minimum of 12 to 18 months to have a human clinical trial, especially when coming out with a vaccine. So
mm,
we will be seeing this norm all the way a year from now, or maybe 2 years from now. So if
mm,
SMEs do not have the cash flow to survive for the next 6 to 9 months in order for them to adapt, right? So I think this will be a very huge problem or a big change for most of SMEs.
okay. Other than cash flow, do you think there are also certain other effects that can affect SMEs?
Other than cash flow, I think cash flow right now is the mainstream, right?
Mm.
First is cash flow. Second is looking into pivoting. Pivoting as in your usual business operation. Can it still operate as it is right now, right? Following the new FOP, the new norms, can your business fit into that? If not, can your business take up digital, something digital, right, to enhance and support it? So that's what I have in mind.
So, because you're also an entrepreneur and a business owner, what do you think these business owners should do when it comes to sudden crises like this?
I think it's best if they explore like new ways or avenues, or even do whatever it takes to survive, right? I like my business, for example, right? I have two businesses. One is Fula, which is app marketing, and the other one is youthplay.com, which is for youth marketing, right? So for youth marketing, most of my users are colleges or universities, college or university students, right? So at this time, all colleges and universities are basically closed, right? There's no student events. There's not anything for us to do. So what we did to survive is also because most of the students, they are now at home. Some even are waiting for their classes to start, so they have extra time. So what we do is that we open up job opportunities for the students. For example, we link them up to food delivery companies. So
Mm.
students can actually hop on their bike or even their car to actually do delivery. So this is
Mm.
like whatever we can do right now to survive in this pandemic, and also to make a revenue as we can.
Okay, so from just now, you've mentioned that you help youths to get some part-time jobs during this pandemic, which is a great thing. But did you guys also meet with some, some maybe some miscommunication, or is there any like obstacle that you guys meet when you guys help these youths to build up during this MCO time, all this part-time job?
I think the what is interesting for us is that we because we are leveraging on any tools or online technology tools, right, from WhatsApp to Google Sheet, where we prepare all the students different timing when they deliver, and we work with the companies, right. We even work with logistic companies or even runner companies, right, that they provide runner services for food delivery or for even groceries and so forth. So we
Mm.
supply those people, basically, I mean, those talents to help this company grow, because these are the companies that is currently in need for many people. So yeah.
Mm. All right. So, do you think it's crucial for SMEs to change the way they do business to adapt to the new norm of the digital age?
That is definitely right, because it takes, as I mentioned just now, it takes 12 to 18 months to find a vaccine. So everybody is prone to stay at home, right? When they are at home and they are gathered in one location, it's very different from marketing like before MCO, right? Before this pandemic, right? Every time you want to carry out a program or do marketing, you might conduct an event or anything to attract a mass, then you do your sales and marketing activities. But right now it's totally different already, because people are at home, right? They're all scattered around and they don't go out already. There's no gathering for them to go out. So the only way to reach all this mass and people is through technology, through social media, technology, or even platforms that can reach out to everybody online. So that will be the new norm already.
Okay. So, like, do you think that because the economy is unstable and some of the companies are forced to close down, I think there was a report saying that small medium enterprises cannot sustain, and therefore they have closed down. A few of them closed down. A few of them still struggling to survive, and some of them, even though they survive, they are also struggling to make ends meet. So, what do you think SMEs can learn from this pandemic?
I think is adaptability, right? What is really important is adaptability. I have seen companies that is badly affected, such as the traveling or tour agencies, right?
Mm.
And they were actually right now, right? They're actually using their vans to become a logistic company instead, right? Instead of being the usual the travel agency that use their van to fetch people around, right? The tourists, so they use it right now to do like delivering parcel or also packaging goods. So if you can see, they transition and adapt to the current pandemic. And
Mm.
also, my personal opinion, like those who close down, right, are those who really don't want to change, or they are using this opportunity as a reason to shut down because their business has not been profitable all along. So that's
Mm.
my personal assumption now. And humans are I mean, we are genetically designed to adapt to change, right? As humans, we can
Yeah.
survive in any environment, right? But this is definitely not the end of it.
Okay. So do you think that if SME they put effort to change and adapt to the new norm that they can, actually make better revenue than before?
Yes, actually, as a matter of fact, yes. To be honest, right, for Fula.com, we are making more money
Mm,
before the pandemic. Why? Because I realized that because we are an app store, right? We are a personalized app store. A lot of
mm,
people are moving to digital already. So I think it's kind of like a boom period for us, right? So I think
mm,
the change here is you need to adapt, right? If whatever necessary for you to adapt and you can change, do it, right? Maybe after this pandemic, you will end up with two businesses, right? Like for the tours, right? You might still have your tour agency, but you also have a logistic company already. Yeah, so these are the things that I think every problem is just an opportunity. Yeah.
right, correct. So, in your opinion, do you think that SMEs are able to recover from this economy downfall this year?
Yeah, perfect. This is just what I just said just now. Every problem, right? It's just an opportunity because um there's something weird about me, yeah, right? Every time somebody tells me a problem, right? Instead, I'm like, oh, okay, I empathize you. I find it like fascinating, I'm
Mm,
like very excited when somebody tells me a problem because every problem comes an opportunity. That's where new businesses are basically born, right? New
mm,
businesses are born, and the way we do business will also like emerge and also change. That is definitely for sure lah. And also, I'm even seeing like companies profiting at this time as well, and also they even found like new ventures and to actually look into it. So I've also a few business owners that I know. They come out with they from what they're doing and what they're doing now, right? It's totally two different things also. So
mm.
that's what I can share.
So, you've mentioned earlier about uh, we have to adapt because what we need to learn is we need to adapt to this new norm from this pandemic. So, do you think all these main lessons that SMEs can take away from this year and the pandemic and the economy downfall is only to adapt and to maintain good cash flow? So, other than these two, are there anything else that owners can learn from this pandemic? Like any other points?
Yeah, I think there's a few key points that they have to take note. First
Mm,
is head counts, right?
mm,
Do
mm,
they really need that person? And even for us right now, we are still hiring, right? If people join our company, I think the first question we also ask them is this person really necessary to the company, right? That's number one. And do they have the resources to join us? For
mm,
example, I do meet people that they do not even have Wi-Fi at home, right?
mm.
You don't have Wi-Fi at home, and for us, we're gonna work from home all the way to December, so it's not a good
Right,
fit. So, yeah. So
right.
one is headcount. Number two, it's the budgets, right? I understand cash flow is important, but what is your future budgeting, right? That's number two that you have to look into. Number three is the operations, right? Operations, how can you be more efficient in carrying out your business? And last but not least is their business model. So can
Mm,
this business model it breaks down into a few segments as well. What is your short-term goal, medium-term goal, and your long-term plan? Yeah, so I think these are the four key areas that I think is important other than cash flow.
okay. So we want to know, like, if we were to have a recession, which many of them say, yes, recession is coming. So if we really were to be so unlucky to go through this recession, do you think
Mm.
that SMEs are able to sustain through? Because especially those who even they adapt, lah, they say that they might not make it through recession. So what is your opinion on
um if they have to go through recession, right? I think again they have to be very very sensitive with their cash flow, right? Because I keep emphasizing this because this is what kills you, that at this
it?
time. So you must be very very sensitive with your cash flow and how you actually deal with all this change. Because first you need to look at your cash flow, then how you can change to adapt to this current scenario. Like I'm going to tell upfront, it's going to be I have friends who are in businesses still think that CMCO will be over in another 2 months. It's not going to happen. I've been following all the news from the WHO all the way to the virologist research centers. I really went down to reading up their research and when will a normal vaccine will take place. It's going to be 12 to 18 months. Imagine we don't have vaccine and it's going to be the next 12 to 18 months. What are you going to do, right? So anyone who plan between short term or medium term, that is where I think is dangerous.
Okay. Uh, in your opinion, like maybe you can give us some suggestion because you've been in this line for quite a while, and I'm sure you have been through quite a lot as well, ups and downs. So, for those who are new business owners, new entrepreneurs, like super fresh, and then suddenly this MCO hit them and all that, right? So, do you think what can they do to proceed with their business? Like, what can they do to help push their business?
Okay, in that, if that's the case, right, it definitely look into what industry you're in first. First is
Mm,
your industry, and then second, it's you after you find out what industry you're in, then the question you need to ask yourself, what does the industry need at the current moment, right? You have, like I say, you have to plan for short, medium, and long term plan. It might be different. Your short term plan might be maybe you're in the logistic industry, right? So
mm,
what is the hot demand right now? Probably grocery, right? A lot of people ordering groceries right now. How can you serve that market currently? Maybe a medium term goal plan is being a logistic of for Malaysia, right? So
mm,
then you do your expansion ideas, right? Then your
mm,
long term goal is probably be the biggest, largest logistic company for Malaysia. Then how can you facilitate that? So as a very, very new startup, especially at this point of time,
mm,
do you have enough cash flow? And then what industry are you in? And then how can you help the industry to solve the current problem? So even like I've even friends that sells mask at this moment, right? So mask is a hot demand, and of course they follow the rates are given by the government. Yeah.
mm.
So but their business, if you look into it, is entirely different from selling masks.
All right. So we want to know, like, do you think this new digital norm is really good for SMEs and their businesses?
At the end of the day, I think it's how you see it. For me, I'm generally a very optimistic person, right? I'm also I switch between gears being realistic as well as optimistic. But most of my percentage will be being optimistic. So if
Mm,
you look at this pandemic, right, it's really how you see things. Because if you see things optimistically and being positive about it, then your energy you channel to your business is different. The energy you generate to your staff, your team will be different. If you are a business owner and you keep worrying, you have anxiety, you always think that things will always go bad, then it will affect the team. Eventually, it will affect the business. So for me, my personal advice is just be positive.
okay. So other than that, I would like to ask, like, do you think during this kind of a crisis is a good time to make it a turning point for a business?
Oh yes, it's a fantastic time actually.
Uh-huh.
I would like to share like last time, right? If I go out for meetings to meet clients or even our investors or other business owners, I would spend approximately 3 to 4 hours. I mean 3 to 6 hours, right? Just traveling. Right? When I say traveling, it's driving the car, meeting, parking, jam. I think you everybody hearing this would relate. So if I mean the 6 hours right now is converted into free time. And I do this 20 days a month, right? 20 working days a month, right? 20 days you times by 6 hours, how much time you have on your hand, right?
Mm,
So that time you can actually use to reflect on your business. Which part in your business should you improve? Operations, cash flow. It gives me more time to think. And because I'm not traveling, I'm not tired. I'm actually more fresher. So I think it's a very good time to actually sit, reflect. I think new businesses or new ideas will be born this pandemic, and Malaysia is going to be on a global scale for that. Yeah.
So, like, we have a question from Rahman. He asks, "What
Mm.
opportunities are there for a small business during this time?"
Uh, Thanks for the question, Raman. I think it really depends on what small businesses you want to look into. Like I mentioned just now, it depends on your industry, right? Your particular industry itself. Does it cater a certain demand, right? Right now, we all know that the demands are on logistic, on groceries, on especially essential needs, right? So how can you build your business around it first? Then what is your short term, medium term, and long term plan? So if you just follow this framework, right, I think you'll be fine.
Okay, so we have another question from Fadila Sufyan. She asks,
Mm.
is there any tips to maintain the small business during this downtime?
I think the government is right now giving out the grants, right, to also support. For me, it's definitely go apply. Even my company right now, we got the support from the government, right? So definitely go for the government. And then second, if all else fail, sell like no tomorrow. Sell like your life depends on it. Sell like you are going to die right now, but just sell, right? Any opportunity you can make money, but of course do it legally, right? And also for the community, do it legally and just sell. Right now is the time to just sell whatever you can.
Okay, so as a business owner yourself, do you think it's important to be transparent to your fellow staffs and your workers during this downtime to like assure them that the company is okay or the company is not okay? Do you think it's okay to be transparent with them?
Yeah, I think it is. If I'm, then my question would be, if you're the employee of that company, would you want your employer to be transparent to you? How would you feel? I think
Mm,
now is a very tough time for everybody, right? But
mm,
would you would want to know what your future holds, right? But if you want to let me go as an employee, for example, you should think for me also, what will I be doing next, right? So I think
mm,
being transparent or giving a leeway for employees is very important because they also have their livelihood. If you're letting them go and you cover them at least for a month or two, then it will be better for them to actually prepare themselves also rather than almost immediate stop to that
mm.
activity.
Okay, so we have questions from Fadila again.
Mhm.
Fadila asks, with this new CMCO, how long you think it will be a relief until a small business need to plan a new strategy?
It's a relief. Okay. I think okay. What she meant by relief here, I assume it's just after CMCO. As I mentioned just now during my talk, basically, is that it will not be a relief. I think I have to bring this up hard to you, so you get slapped in the face, and then you break up first because it will not be a relief. It will happen for another 12 to 18 months. I, I've mentioned just now, I spend 6 hours a day traveling. Now it's converted to 6 hours that I can spend reading. I've been reading so much, and I can tell you that it will not subside until the next 12 to 18 months. That's an average to find a human clinical trial for the vaccine.
Mm,
So yeah, so if you want to plan a new strategy, my advice, plan it now. Yeah.
alright. So we also have questions from Muhammad Sahaja. He asks, so what are your advice in selling my digital marketing as an SME? So I think what he meant is he is selling digital marketing plans as a small medium enterprise. So what are your advice for him?
Okay, I think Muhammad, you don't need advice because this is definitely a hot demand right now, right? It's definitely a hot demand. I've actually a side gig also that I'm doing, right? Side gig where I partner up with developers from all around the world. We actually do build apps and websites for a lot of clients, right? I
Mm,
I've been receiving minimum 3 requests without even doing advertising every single day. So it's 3 clients, every new clients that find us every single day. So I think in your space, I wouldn't think there will be any problem for you. Like I mentioned, all you need to do is just sell, 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 sell.
mm.
That's what I advise.
But do you think that budget would be a problem for clients for this time? Because some of them, they prefer to save money. Ma. So if they want to save money, they're not willing to spend so much. Do you think it will also affect those of us who are doing like digital marketing or doing digital sales, e-commerce?
Okay, for personally, right? Personally, I cannot speak for all industries, but for my industry particularly, we are spending way more than we did before. So I think right now, if you because in order to sell, you need to go out there, right? You
Mm,
probably need to do advertising also, right? So right now is the best time to actually push it because if you have that mindset that you just told me just now, right? People
mm,
are cutting on budget or marketing budget, right?
mm,
Again, I think that's just an excuse probably, right?
mm,
That's just a very what do you call that? Very. good manners to actually reject someone. I don't have budget, but they do. Okay, right now
Yeah.
is the time to really spend and go out there to sell. So I think
Mm.
for Muhammad himself, his business is a hot demand. So I don't think I need to advise anything on that.
All right. So we have a question from Jasmine Joseph. She asks, there's a lot of small coffee shop or bubble tea shop that is operating due to trends, and now with the pandemic, it's all closing down. So what are your thoughts on this? Yes, this one I saw, SS15 Subanjaya, that most of the bubble milk tea shops are closing down because they got no business and they cannot open their shop. So what are your thoughts?
Okay. I do have friends in retail, right? They're actually doing pretty well now.
Mm,
Like honestly speaking, right?
mm,
Retail shop, physical shop, they're doing well. Why? Because they collaborated with so many delivery companies. They
mm,
open up their basically their facilities online, right? And they are pushing it. And like I mentioned just now, if Jasmine, you meet up one of my key points that I mentioned just now, if businesses close now, it's because first they don't want to adapt to change, and number two, they probably are not profitable all along. They are just using a pandemic excuse to just close it down. That's
mm,
my this is my personal opinion. Okay, again, I don't help other industry about what I'm saying.
mm. So I want to know because for Fola and News Today is two different platforms, right? So
Right.
what are your strategies to get people to notice you during this time?
Okay, so for usetoday.com, we have already have a base of more than 100,000 student leaders from all across Malaysia. So right
Mm,
now, at this pandemic time, we are offering to facilitate universities on their student lecture programs, and we're also funding them that. So right now, we even have big projects coming in. We are working with Job Street. We are working with technology companies like Here Technologies.
mm,
We are reaching out to all these students, helping them to even get their internship or even part-time jobs if they need. So
mm,
these are the things that we're doing on usetoday.com. For Fula, on the other hand, because it's a personalized app store, it's an app store alone. So a lot of because of this pandemic, a lot of people are moving online. So there's just a lot of demand there right now. So that's
mm,
basically what we're going
mm.
through.
So you are also technically doing digital marketing for your platforms as well, lah.
We do have digital marketing, and we
Mm,
also do a lot of peer-to-peer referral. So
mm,
like our communities introduce their friends and friends to actually come in.
okay. So if you can give an advice to people who wants to be an entrepreneur during this time, like they now only want to start being an entrepreneur. So for you being an entrepreneur for more than 10 years, I would say, because you today has been there for so long already. What would your advice be for these new entrepreneurs who wants to join the business bucket or the business boat?
Yeah, I think for new businesses, at the end of the day, you still go back to cash flow, right? Do you have the enough cash flow? And I know there's a lot of platforms
Mm,
that is offering like equity. They call it ECF, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
mm,
like online, they can raise fund from many investors, right?
mm,
So that's one funding options they can consider when it comes to cash flow. But second of all, does your business launching right now your business, does it fit the current new norm, right? So does it fit and do you have all the SOP and regulations in place? I think that's really important. Then
mm.
you look into your basically what do you need? Do you have the technology tools to enable your business? Yeah, so I think these are the few key factor areas if you're a new business going out in the market. And of course, please always interview the people around you. Is this something that you will use or buy? Yeah.
Okay. So, is there any advice that you want to give to everyone right now? I mean, like because we're closing this session, so is there anything else you would like to add to today's session?
Um, okay, so I think the thing that I really want to add on is if you are a struggling business owner or you have a lot of anxiety on this pandemic, again, don't feel the pressure, right? Because every cloud has a silver lining, right? Always look at the positive side and also being optimistic about it. So
Mm.
everything is going to be okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Justin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about Fulla, you can go to www.fulla.com. And if you have anyone who are still youth, they want to find some grants, help them to go to uni, or you want to join any of the programs that Jess has mentioned, you can go to youthtoday.com. All right. So thank you so much, Jess, for doing this with us today. So I hope everyone has learned something from this session today. It's so fruitful, and I guess all SME owners had gotten what they need from today's session. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you too for having me.